also in others, since they have a platform on which they run majority of the open calls or tenders. So they are kind of a supporting platform. So a lot of you already know about the funding box. There will be a Q&A session. All speakers means that me and Antonio will be the guys to say if at least we know if something there is specific, then we will ask for understanding, and we will somehow, let's say, give you the feedback. We intend now to announce that we would like to record this session. Jožek, my assistant. And at the end, we will do the wrap up and maybe some tips and tricks for you if required are. And we stay basically, we see this as an opportunity for further communication till the deadline of submission. Naturally also after that, but let's go step by step. So again, what this the purpose of this event is to get familiar with the second call, a bit of more details. Target group are manufacturing SMEs and technology providers as consortium, or I'd say that majority of you here are technology providers. So I believe that, as I said, majority of you already know the 85% of the things that applicants should know, and there are only few minor details that now change the picture of the procedure, how to apply. What you get is basically some facts, some conditions, this difference, and how to apply. I believe that you already heard about RAMP, which is a platform that we use in this project as well. So all the registration stuff and application, I mean, implementation will be running on that. We have some other tools like Grafana and stuff that you will use during the project. Okay, and the team of today, that's me as a moderator. Then we have Antonio as an expert and back support. So some technical issues or chat control or links to be added, that will be done by my colleague Jožek from Pomurje Technology Park. I shall start something about PTP, maybe a bit boring part for you, since, as I said, some you might know us. We started as a kind of a network of let's say 3-4 locations in the past. So it was like BIN, Business Incubator Network, Pomurje. We focused mainly on the startups at the time. And in 2008, there was a business model number 2.0, let's say fancy, where we figured out that basically also, let's say, companies that are older, not only startups, they do new product developments or service developments or processes. So then we decided to be a technology park, partly also due to the nature of our financing. We are LTD, we are not on public budget, so kind of a consulting company on let's say, market. And in 2018, we evolved, let's say, to the digital innovation hub, specifically for the smart manufacturing hub, because our main focus of our technology park are services that we are developing or offering to manufacturing companies. We are still nonprofit intermediate, and as I said, that's our focus. The ownership is 100% public. Like it says, we have currently 7 projects ongoing in 26 European countries. We have partnerships. The tradition is more than 60% in the last 10 years. We are now already 18th year we are on the market, let's say, or we are still alive. For that time, we also got ISO 9001 certificate about the quality. We are the only technology park who has that. We have own R&D unit registered. Like I said, we are certified as a digital innovation hub. We assisted more than 200 companies at establishing or development. And we have some, as we are not in town with a university or approximate to it. So the closest one is in Maribor. So we have a lot of contracts with R&D institutions. So services that we do, basically we have 4 focus groups: startups, scale-ups, corporations, and investors. And for each of these, we have kind of a program. The first one is for startup. It's basically startup academia, mentorship, pilots, and financing, where we search for most appropriate, let's say, funding sources to fund either specific operations or patents or development of some product or design, whatever. Then we have scale up program, basically where we do the optimization of the production through lean methods. Then we do technology scouting, so for the solutions. There is a possibility to do test before invest, and again, funding or financing opportunities. For corporations, we have InnoScouting. So basically we go and search for technology providers for bigger corporations, basically how to do for the technology providers. That's kind of a scale up opportunity, and for the corporations to find partners on various shapes of relationships. We strive to do some tailor-made solutions. So we develop jointly with the companies their solutions. Then there is a test before invest again as a program for them, and funding as well, where we search for various forms which are available for, let's say, joining forces with the technology providing companies. And then the last one is about investors. There are startup scouting. Let's say we search for good technology providers, looking for variety of options in internationalization. And there are different business approaches where we go also to study and entry and exit models, how to do that through coaching and with events. More about our services you can read on our website, which is p-tech.si. And that, I'd say, it's kind of a more or less about Technology Park Pomurje. And as we don't have our distinguished colleague from Finland to present the project DIH2 in details, I'll go through the official presentation, but my talk or saying will be basically focused on just major things that might get you a general picture of this DIH2 project, less than going into specific, I'd say, details that might be in a way not so interesting, because you are following your, I'd say, dreams, and that's completely logic. But for the background, it might be a very good stuff to know what's the idea. So when we talk about DIH2, we can say it's just one of many currently ongoing cascade funding projects. I believe that majority of the logos you see here, you already know. We are basically currently in DIH2, Bovi, and Change to Twin. But as I said, Change to Twin is part of I4MS bigger, let's say, story. Usually we say go and find contacts of each of these projects. There is usually participating partner from the country, and you can find contacts, and they will help you out similarly to what we have today, either through such events or maybe concretely with the application where you have concrete questions, stuff like that. Okay, we help, let's say, like I said, currently in DIH2 and Change to Twin to potential participants. What are the keywords to these cascade funding tenders? It's basically that usually we talk about novel disruptive technologies, and main focus are technology providers who can provide some good stuff to manufacturing companies in this current project of ours. The idea is basically somehow to through testing, let's say, to provide the insights, whether this works in, let's say, particular industry or manufacturing company. That could be breakthrough potential for technology providers to get this scale up potential and channels that these platforms will offer on one side, and the other one is basically to develop such an ecosystem where basically 4 target groups can participate and profit from. You will see in which fields and basically who are these 4 target groups. You are among them naturally. So there will be like a network of providers of services, tools, trainings, methodologies to apply, competencies that can help you out with your daily work. So the background of the project, I have to apologize for some poor quality of the presentation, but the format of the original was such that I cannot apply. So I made kind of a print screens. But okay, the point of this project or the idea of it arose from the fact that robotization is on the move, that there is a fierce competition which forces also smaller producers, which are usually lower in the supply chains, international supply chains, so they have to be very competitive, or they have to watch over their costs to stay in the game. And due to the lower, let's say, batches of production, where everything is getting more and more personalized, or basically you need to have the production which is agile, and thus it can be done through robotization, artificial intelligence, all the gadgets that are currently developed, and they are getting more and more, let's say, affordable also by small and medium-sized companies. And in order to enable them this access, these costs should be as low as possible for entering this digitization. And the, let's say, opposite side of that are the current known, I'd say, producers of the hardware and software, which basically are, I'd say, an obstacle for smaller producers because they cannot afford the solutions that they're offering, because they are through licensing very high costs. And now everybody is talking about development, which will be, let's say, enabling and linking those robots into some skeletons or backbones in production there, where the different producers of hardware will be able to be merged in one, let's say, systemic integration. So the project DIH is about manufacturing companies and how to overcome these barriers through combination with these funding options. I'd say that the bigger goal of the project is to create a network of competencies through the Europe. Still, the 300,000 manufacturing companies are in mind that they need to digitize, and the ambition of the project is to get the network of these DIHs with specialized services to be over 170 by 2022. Okay, now about the 4 principles, or what's the story behind the DIH square. It's about the concept. So we have a slogan of accelerating factories through robotics. And there are basically 4 pillars or elements which support that story. Sorry. First one is standardization and platforms. As you usually know, that I wouldn't say wet dream, but let's say that the idea is that European companies find a safe haven where they can basically get for more convenient conditions, under more convenient conditions, specific solutions that they can use. And for that, you need standardized elements or building bricks that you can use. They have to be verified, checked, and that's very important part when you do with the open solutions. And naturally, there are necessary skills on agile production. So basically some trainings for everybody is required. Then what is still unclear or is developing, I'd say one step behind the current fast developments, are regulatory frameworks. And then there is a concrete project program that you are actually taking part. It's about technology transfer, which is, I would say, worked out story, already proven in some pre-ancestors of this project. And let me go through. So when we talk about the technology transfer program, that's something that you are now currently approaching at that stage where you are applying for let's say, with some drafts of yours. And then there will be a pre-selection, and then we go for the jury day, the end stage. And then there will be like 10 months of stage 2, where you go for the development of specific solution in your case. There is a stage 3 as well. More about that will say Antonio, hopefully. It's about third part where the technology providers get the option of scaling up. There is also in methodology, you have 4 experts to assist you, kind of mentors. One is technology in residence, then it's entrepreneurial consulting, and then there is standardization manager, which will go through with your solution or building brick that you're using. And then this last stage is about potential financing, where we have also big sponsor companies who can be a scale-up potential for you. Then through the ramp, you can use the channel as a selling opportunity, standardization platform. That is something that you will have to somehow cope with when you are selected. The interesting part is basically that all these cascade funding projects are kind of using same logic. So this is just one of the many projects, but the idea is that there will be similar approaches to all, and then there will be, let's say, platform like ramp, where you will have the possibility to use the verified, standardized parts that you can get for your purpose. Not the whole solution, but only small fragments, which are part of the IPR things. And there will be also kind of a voucher for the ELS ethical, legal, and security issues. When we talk about skills on agile production, there's basically about awareness, at the same time growing capabilities. So everybody on one side, it's about the whole culture that this project wants to achieve through the, I'd say, certain clusters or directly through projects with companies, and on the other side, about challenges that are related to concrete production process. Okay, when we talk about regularity, I already mentioned this with the ELS. There is a problem, or I'd say challenge, that usually we are very fond of all the gadgets and technologies available. They are developing very fast, but then everybody somehow forgets about the security, which is more and more relevant, because also we cannot ignore the fact that also this can be easy money for some crooks. So there is a lot of criminal law going, and in a way, when we have not only SMEs, also private users like physical persons, that we somehow trust the system as it is, but sometimes this is completely wrong. Just recently, I believe that there is 110,000 Facebook accounts from Slovenia that have been hacked, among 500,000 others, or 500 million, I believe, 543 million of these. So what we do here, it's basically then when these solutions are developed, either for your concrete case, there will be decided which part is let's say, to be openly on ramp, and which part is basically a business secret and selling potential for you to use as through the ramp that you are going to be selling as or doing scale up for yourself. That's a voucher mechanism. So basically we are familiar in Slovenia with the voucher because you are already using for various services, because that's the way how our Ministry of Economic Development basically fosters digital transition. And similar to that, there is basically also in this project. How we are helping basically manufacturing companies. There is equity-free funding up to 248,000. I believe that majority of you already are familiar with that. But then again, we said that you can go also for private funding, but that's already story for the next level. Then ramp, it's basically this marketplace, which I said, it's kind of a logic that we have one-stop shop for everybody, for SMEs looking for automation services, or for technology providers to, let's say, be present there and somebody can basically get in contact with them. It's kind of a portal to matchmake, let's say. I will not say about this funding opportunity because I know the presentation of Antonio. He will go through that much more precise as I am. But when we talk about this marketplace ramp, basically multiple functionalities, but I already mentioned that manufacturers will have this access to latest technologies in order to improve efficiency and productivity. That's basically a goal that the whole industry is following. And suppliers will be kind of like a catalog, I'd say, but it's more than a catalog basically for them, or a channel of selling their services. What's in it? Basically, it's kind of a community. It's about tools available. You can get financial support, basically either in shape of a project financing, public financing, or private investors. Then there's a voucher for these services, training and development, that will be a part. And this is kind of a model that also DIHs like ours should have a, let's say, wider range of services that we are going to offer. So basically, aside of doing projects with concrete companies, this is also a tool for DIHs to somehow extend their services. The benefits, I mentioned already that this project has 4 target groups. One is technology providers. That's basically who are present today. So you get access to international markets. You are going to be able to somehow communicate through this ramp platform with the target group of your companies that you would like to do. Although now majority of you already have the consortiums ready to take part in the second call. And there is a possibility for other shapes of or relations with the companies, either to do the joint further development, either with the sponsors or with similar thinking complementary technology providers. Next, manufacturing SMEs. I don't know if there are, because I don't have time to look on participants currently. It's possible to have this brokerage where you can, let's say, challenge us and let us have your challenge, and then we go for search through the whole network of DIHs. In last call experience was that less favorable for foreigners, because nobody has this closeness, which is still part of a, not only trust, but also availability when something goes down. And then we have different tools available for you to do the analysis or costs, reduce planning time, everything which is basically available through this platform. The fourth are clusters or like clusters or associations like chambers who are in charge or have members of companies. So basically they can see the trends here. They can network and find best partners for their members. And the fourth one is digital innovation hubs like we are. And I already mentioned that we are basically broadening our services range and provide technology transfer services for the SMEs. That's basically about the project in general. It might took a bit more than I expected, but somehow I just step in shoes of the others, of our, let's say, colleague from Finland. Anyway, all the details and also presentations materials will be available, so we can send you upon request. Naturally, we will not fill your email with unnecessary data or information. You already know about the partnership of the project. Basically, you see that there is initially there was like 26 countries. The Danish partner stepped out, but there are also other observers. So it's quite a range of, I'd say, renowned or known partners participating in this project. Some of them are repeating in other cascade funding projects. So basically, when you cope with one that's all over, then you know that it's a good partner. Okay, this is something that I'm now already I have on my screen, but now I believe that also our colleague from Spain, Antonio Montalvo of Funding Box, is with us. Am I right?
Yes.
Okay, Antonio, welcome. I don't know for how long you've been already listening to me because I didn't check.
Actually, the session started at 10:30 my time. Maybe there was a misunderstanding there. So I've been listening for only 5 minutes.
Okay. Okay. Then I will invite you to share your screen. I will stop sharing mine for the presentation that you have. When you are ready.
Okay, I need to open it. Okay.
If you cannot open it, I have it, so I can do it for you.
Give me 2 minutes more. I'm opening it.
Okay.
That I have some problems with the PowerPoint. Okay, so.
Meanwhile, you can tell us whether other partners are already starting also with the similar events. You have any information on that?
Sorry?
I was wondering whether other partners are also having these events and you are familiar with them, or you are kind of involved similarly to that event that we have today.
I think this is the first event, and there are more to come, but there is not yet a timeline for that. So I cannot answer that question. Probably. Okay, I'm opening the presentation now.
Feel free.
So let me share my screen. Okay. Is it okay now? Can you see my screen?
Yeah.
Okay, let's go. So I don't know if you have already let them know what, of course, DIH2 is about, but going to the point, we had the first open call last year, actually in 2019, but they started the experiments last year. And now the idea is to open a second open call, which actually started on the 1st of April. And to sum it up, and then I will explain more in detail, this open call is divided in 2 steps. The first step is what we call a short proposal step, and then a second step, which will be an invitation for full proposal. So the call will be open for everybody from the 1st of April to the 30th of June for this short proposal phase. And then we will select the best one per country, and we will invite them to the full proposal. So this short proposal phase will be open for 3 months, and I will explain in detail every item that is included here, but we will provide you with a short proposal template where you will be able to fulfill the main aspects of what we want to get at this point. And basically, this short proposal phase is about we want to measure the relevance and the excellence of your proposal. The relevance is going to measure to what extent your proposal is out of the scope of the project, of the DIH2 project, and if the sorry, and after this evaluation, you are considered to be relevant. So the answer to this question will be yes or no. Then there will be an external evaluation to the excellence of your, basically the technical aspect of your proposal. This will be done by 2 technical oriented evaluators, 2 for each proposal. And in case there is a difference between evaluators, we will involve a 3rd evaluator. So the idea is that we select 5 selected proposals per country, and then these 5 will be invited to a full proposal. And then the second step will last 2 months, and you will have to submit a full proposal template, which is going to be provided as well as the short proposal. And here we will evaluate basically the impact and implementation. So the impact is more a bit the business aspects of your proposal, and implementation, how your team and your resources are accommodated to implement the project. So again, there will be 2 evaluators for each proposal. In this case, more business oriented, and again, a 3rd evaluator will intervene in case of differences. After that, after those evaluations are done, there will be a committee of experts from DIH2, which will analyze the ranking that will be established and invite the 2 highest ranked proposals per country to a jury day. So In the end, we will have 34 proposals to be invited to the jury day. Okay. Which are the eligible applicants? This is the same as for the first open call. We are asking for a consortia composed of manufacturing companies and technology providers. Here you can see the options we might accept: 1+1, one manufacturing company, one technology provider, or one manufacturing company and two technology providers, or two manufacturing companies and one technology provider. That's the only options we can admit. The novelty here compared to what was done in the first open call is that we are requesting for both of the manufacturing companies and the technology providers to be of the type of SMEs or slightly bigger companies. An SME is, to sum it up, we will take into account the head count in our annual working units, which has to be less than or equal to 250 employees, and an annual turnover of less than 50 million. But also slightly bigger companies are allowed, so we can admit companies that have less than 500 employees and an annual turnover of less than 100 million, or a balance sheet of less than 86 million euros. Okay, here, this slide is very important because there has been a big difference here compared to the first open call. In the first open call, both the technology providers and the manufacturing companies could be members of the European Union or associated countries to H2020 or the United Kingdom. Here, in this occasion, we are only going to admit that for the technology providers, but for the manufacturing companies, we are strictly focusing on these countries you can see here. Most of them are from what we call the EU 13 countries, Bulgaria, Croatia, Cyprus, etc. The reason for this is because the DIH2 project aims to fund one experiment per European Union country. That means 26 maximum in total during the whole lifetime of the DIH2 project. In the first open call, we selected in the end 11 proposals from 9 countries. 9 countries mean that these 9 countries that were already selected in the first open call cannot be selected as for the manufacturing companies now. You will notice that there are countries such as Spain, Poland, Ireland, Portugal that are not included here, and the reason is because they already were selected in the first open call. So basically, this is the most important thing to be aware of. The open call timeline, how it's going to work. Here you can see that we are now in the phase of the short proposal submission that started on the 1st of April. Then, as I said, there will be an internal and external evaluation of this short proposal that will last 3 weeks. Then for 2 months, there will be a full proposal submission, then the committee experiments. Then there will be a legal check for the for the proposals that have been invited to the jury day. And then after the jury day, the selected ones will sign a sub-grant agreement. Here you can see the total proposals we are looking for. The first stage, our aim is to get 10 proposals per eligible country, since there are 17 eligible countries for the manufacturing companies. We expect to have 170. Out of these 10 per country, 5 per country should be should pass to the full proposal stage, and then 2 per country should go through the jury day, and after that 1 per country will be selected. You will note that we can only select 15 and not 17 because, as I said, the total number of experiments have to be 26, and we already have 11 from the first open call. So we have 15 left for the second open call. That means that probably there will be 2 countries that will have no representative in the second open call phase. Is the timeline expressed in another way. Here you can see better that we have 3 months upfront to the short proposal. Then we will last during the month of July. We will do these evaluations of the short proposals and the invitations. Then you will have August and September to work on the full proposal, the ones who have been invited, of course. Then there will be in October the external evaluation, etc. So in the end, the projects are to start by mid-January of next year. The jury day will happen by the end of November. But then, as I say, after that, we need to do a legal check, the signature of the grant agreement. So we expect to start this second round of experiments by mid-January. As I said, regarding the evaluation criteria, I said in the first slide that in the short proposal, we are going to focus on the relevance and the excellence parts of the proposal, measuring if you are in or out of scope, and the excellent basically is the technical part. For that, you are recommended to read very carefully the technical guide, which I will let you know where you can find it right away. But in this technical guide, you have all the explanations on what we are expected to get and what is going to be evaluated. And then for the group proposal, as I said, we are going to focus more on the business and the implementation aspects of the proposal. This is maybe very interesting for you guys, the technology transfer program, which you are going to be part of, how it is divided and the amounts of money you can get. So there is a first phase. There are 3 phases. The first phase is what we call the jury day. As I said, those consortia that are going to be invited to participate in the jury day, they will get a lump sum of 3,500 euros just for doing the pitch in front of the jury, and 34 consortia will be invited for that. After that, as I said, 15 will be selected for the second phase, which is the technology transfer experiment definition and execution. There, in total, you will get up to 200,000 euros. And additionally, you can also count on what we call ELS vouchers, which is experts. You can count on experts in legal aspects, in cyber security, and in basically legal cyber security and other aspects that might be useful for you, especially to deal with issues regarding GDPR and legal issues that your experiments may have. That means the voucher, the term voucher means that you are not going to get paid right away. It's just if you apply for this voucher, that is going to be provided to you by experts, external experts to the project, and you will get up to 6,000 euros divided into vouchers of 3,000 each. That means that you might use this 6,000 euros. You're recommended to use them, but you might not use them. Whereas the 200,000 euros, you are going to get them if you, of course, you fulfill the program. Then there will be okay, this phase will last 8 months, and the third phase will last 2 months. But here the difference is that only the tech providers will participate, not all the consortia. So the consortia can be composed of manufacturing companies and technology providers, but the manufacturing companies will only participate in the first 2 phases, not in the last phase. The last phase is for the technology providers, because the intention is to do TTE, technology transfer experiment, scale up. And the scale up is basically devoted to the technology providers, that we are going to ask them to, for example, to provide a commercialization plan and to find more customers, and not only the manufacturing company. So to be able and to show that the experiment can be applied to other manufacturing companies and not only the ones that have participated in the second phase. There is a number of deliverables to get the payments. So here you can find the different installments. Of course, after the first phase, you will receive 3,500 euros. Then after the month 1, you need to submit a certain number of deliverables, basically what we call the individual mentoring plan, which is the plan, the action plan you are going to follow during the experiment. There you will get 50,000 euros. Then after month 4, you will have to submit other deliverables. You will get 60,000, etc. And then for you to know that how you can apply going to this microsite from Funding Box. I don't know, Borut, if we have the time to show a little bit how
you can do it. You can do it.
Okay, because in this case, if I click here, I don't know if you will see my screen. I think not, because I only was sharing this micro PowerPoint. So let me reshare the screen. Okay, let's start again, because I need to change. Okay. Can you see it? Sorry.
It's okay, yeah, we see it.
You can see this landing page. This is the DIH2 Pan-European Network. Is it okay?
Yes, it is okay.
Okay. Here you can find how you can apply. There is an explanation, of course, of what I have mentioned here. You can apply different ways. You can click the Apply Now button here, or you can click this Apply Here for the short proposal submission. Of course, the full proposal submission is not available, because it's going to happen by invitation in August and September. But prior to that, I would recommend you to go and read in detail and analyze and study the guides and documents. and the proposal templates. So the guides and documents is very important because here you have the guide for applicants, which is all I have said is mentioned in the guide for applicants in more detail. It is I would say, the most important document you have to read to get to know what we are expecting, what the call is about, what, etc., etc. This guide for applicants has a lot of technical terms that are applying there. And that's why we have defined a glossary, which is a document explaining every single acronym or term that is not so simple to understand. And the guide for applicants also mentions the technical guide. The technical guide is the guide you are going to follow to do your short proposal. Because the short proposal, as I said, is very focused on the technical aspects. Just to let you know, we can see it's a PDF you can download and then see whatever you want. But okay, well, you see here there are the relevance requirements and the problem requirements and the solution requirements for the relevance, and then the excellence requirement. Okay, so there's a long explanation on every single thing. So I believe that once you read this, you will be able to understand exactly what we are expecting from you in the short proposal template. The proposal templates are available here. So there is a short proposal PowerPoint template. So you need to click here, and then a PowerPoint, you will have to download a PowerPoint. And let me check if it's worth to do it. Do we have the time to show this template or not, Baru? Because in fact, my main intention was to explain the guidelines of.
Yeah, you can do it because we have still 6 minutes, basically.
Okay. Because I need to open it.
Feel free. I believe I have also on my computer the version that I took down, but it's already translated to Slovene, so might be a good one that you take this English version.
Again, I think you are. I'm okay. Let me open this template, because when you click the button, you have seen that you have to download the template. Okay.
Okay.
So let me do it. Okay. Okay. I hope you can see the PowerPoint when now it's opening. It takes some time.
Antonio, what's the big difference between the first and second call? What would you say in a few words?
Okay, the main difference is that in the first call, there was 2 stages. The first one was for individual proposals. I mean, not for consortium. The people who could apply were either manufacturing companies or technology providers, but not in a consortium. And they just had to apply with several, I mean, it was more than giving a proposal or providing a proposal, it was more providing information about their capacities and their expertise, the experience, etc.
So basically a brokerage opportunity.
Then there was a matchmaking process that was done after that, brokerage, etc. And that allowed to do the consortium. Can you see my screen with the short proposal template or not?
No, we still see your web page.
Yeah, because
you have to switch the monitors.
Yeah, I have to switch the. So this is one of the differences.
Okay.
Whereas now we are from the very beginning we are asking for consortia to apply, but in two different steps. One is the short proposal, and the second is by invitation to submit the rest of the proposals. So we are going to concentrate here. Now I think you can see the short proposal template.
Yes.
And as I say, you have to introduce the members of the consortium, okay, to describe the manufacturing company, the first tech provider, second tech provider, if there is any. Okay, here there are two. This is not exactly because you can have two manufacturing companies. But as I said, the maximum number of members of the consortium is 3. So you could have two manufacturing companies and one tech provider. But anyway, you describe the members of the consortium. Then you introduce the application domain. Okay. For that, you, as I say, you need to see the guidelines. And then you need to describe the problem, the solution, the approach, in terms of first an overview, then the connectivity framework, and okay, there is I would say a guidance on how to fill this short proposal template. In any case, if you have any difficulties or you experience some, I would say, it's not clear for you how to do that, there is a help desk in that is also available in the microsite, and you can write all your questions there, and the technical partners of the consortium will give you the needed information and support. Okay, so that's it. I'm looking forward for any questions if you have. Basically, I will not be able to answer to the technical questions because I'm not technical, and but regarding the process and the whole open call, how it's going to work, I can, of course, if you have any questions regarding this, how to fill this, as I say, there are some guidelines, and there is always the help desk that you can. And we might consider, Borut, to have a specific technical webinar if you find it interesting for.
Actually, that came to my mind while listening to this presentation. I thought that now, since everybody will go to study this in meticulous way, if there are any technical challenges or there will be more questions, then we will have either another event that will be just Slovene, or we might on the whole consortium do one technical webinar or kind of a similar to enlighten or to clear things which might be from technical point different. either we do it with Francisco, we invite technical.
Melende from Fireware Foundation is the
yeah, especially that part with Fireware might be something that applicants will need more clarification. We both are actually not technical guys, so for that part, it might be interesting to have such an event. But for the beginning or for the appetizing up things, I believe that this is kind of a good start. I will take over your screen now. And I will invite participants for potential, just a second, share screen. Yes, and I go for my screen. Can you see it? Yes. My screen? Okay. Just a second, why it's not reacting to enlarge. Okay. Now it's time for questions, which can be basically what we can say it's less of a specific technical points, like you mentioned. But the rest, if there are any questions, feel free to ask. Martin, dobar dan. I see we have another participant joining. Who will start? Jernea, prosim. Jernea, please.
Hello. I'm Jernea Žganec-Gross. I'm coming from SME, kind of a technology provider in this domain, and I'm quite new to this EDIH projects. So I have maybe a very silly question. When you're talking about a manufacturing partner, if I understand correctly, this is not the end user that is also, that can also be, of course, it is in industry and manufacture. You're looking in terms of your TTE projects, you're looking for a manufacturing partner that will ultimately sell this solution to other end user manufacturing partners. Am I correct here, or
is it actually
can all the end user be a manufacturing partner in this context of the TTE?
Actually, the manufacturing company has to be an end user. It has to be. Can you hear me?
Yes, I hear you. So we can kind of provide the proof of concept with this technology transfer that our technology
works.
That we supplies the technology provider works for the specific end usage, and we wish to we can we can use it as a good practice then to sell our solution to other users as well. Is
the idea
with the help of your platform and your funding. Am I correct?
The idea
is this the intended purpose of the TTE course?
Okay, the purpose is that there is an interaction, a collaboration, an experiment done between a technology provider and a manufacturing company. The manufacturing company is an SME, which is going to use the technology that is provided by the technology provider. So it has to be an end user. And why are we talking about manufacturing? Because there has to be a factory, a real factory behind. So the manufacturing company has to be company. Okay, no, but I clarified this because in the first open call we found out that some of the manufacturing companies in reality they didn't have manufacturing. So we want to be very clear in this aspect. So the technology is going to be provided by the technology provider, of course, and is going to be used as a first use by this manufacturing company. And this will happen basically in the second phase, the 8-month technology transfer experiment execution. Then there will be a third phase only for the technology providers, not for the manufacturing companies. Why? Because the idea is that once this experiment has been proved that it works in this end user, we are going to ask to the technology provider to scale up this technology to be able to find other end users. Okay, that's why only the technology providers are going to participate in the third phase. But the idea is that this manufacturing company is an end user.
Excellent. Thank you very much.
Okay.
I believe Martin is the next one.
Yes, right away. Okay, thank you very much. Just the question. So our company, we're a technology provider of IT tools for optimization of logistics. So either distribution, route optimization, arrival to the warehouses, and so on. So at the moment, we have used it mostly for outside logistics, but we would like to also transfer our knowledge into internal logistics within warehouses and possibly also the factories. So would that also be an applicable field to apply to this call or not?
To be honest, I haven't followed you exactly. You
okay.
are.
Once again, we provide IT solutions for optimization of logistics. Mostly so far it's outbound logistics, so let's say distribution of the goods and so on. However, we would also like to do it within the warehouse or the factory itself. So would that also be an applicable field or not?
You mean that you would be a technology provider and a manufacturing company at the same time?
No, I'm a technology provider.
You are a technology provider. You can apply. I mean, you need to find an end user for your technology.
Yes, of course. It just we're not providing some robotics as such, but we provide IT solutions for optimization of processes. So is that also a good fit? That was my main question.
My recommendation is that you read the guide for applicants, you read the technical guide, and you will see if you can apply or not, because not in the position. I mean, of course, DIH2 pretends to work on the agile production to provide means to optimize processes and costs, etc.
Okay.
For that, we believe that one of the aims of the project is that we use robotics systems to that will, if they are implemented in the manufacturing companies, that will allow the manufacturing companies to optimize their processes. But if there is another way to do it, and it is compliant with what is requested in the technical guidelines, feel free, but I not really want.
I might jump in. Martin, basically it's there's no limit to who can apply or not, but as Antonio said, it's about how you in a way present it. Because your solutions might be the part. Usually we focus on robotics now, since it's usually the part that we are optimizing with either entering or adding sensors or big data visualization, whatever processes. But nevertheless, the distribution or inner material flows or whatever it's done, it's basically what you do on the outskirts, not in the specific building. But if you have a client that is basically challenge you towards that, then your solutions might fit in certain extent to the idea. But it's very good to read carefully the applications, because there you have 8 challenges which are let's say, kind of stories that we are looking for. Okay, I will send anyway out the presentation with the 8 challenges that you can identify. Okay, next I believe is Drago, please.
Yes, hello. I have a question on eligibility. You mentioned that both technology provider and company should be a SME or middle-sized company. I come from a public institute that as a legal entity has over 1,000 employees. But of course, we would apply as a department which has, well, 20 employees or something. So are we eligible to apply or not?
But you are a public institution or?
A public institution, yes.
No, then you cannot. I mean, it's only for SMEs and slightly bigger companies. You need to be a company.
Okay, thank you.
Any further questions? If not, I can ask myself some to jump in between. So for the first round, Antonio said that the short proposal template is used. Is this the only document they need to provide, or is something else to be added to the first step?
No, I mean, they have to apply and go to the application form. When they click the button, if you click the button apply now or apply here, you will get into an application form. The application form is composed of different sections. The first section is the basic information about the project. It's something that you can complete or fulfill online, okay? Then it's only information regarding the contact information, the name of the company, etc. And in that application form, you will be asked to submit or to upload your short proposal. So when you go to the short proposal template and you fulfill this short proposal template in PowerPoint, then you will have to transform this PPT into a PDF and then upload this PDF in the application form.
Thank you. Thank you. Then the next question, is there at any stage possible that the applicants get some kind of additions that they need to provide comments coming from evaluators? Is that a practice in first stage or in the second stage, or if at all, how many days then they get to let's say correct or add the missing parts? Is that the practice?
No. I mean, you can have the support of your local evangelist. So I think Borut in Slovenia, you can deal with that with the local applicants, but there is not feedback from the evaluators to improve your proposal. There will be an evaluation of the submitted proposal as it is. And if you are rejected, then, for example, if you are rejected in the short proposal phase, you will receive an email with, of course, the comments from the evaluators on how and why you have not been passed to the second stage, or it can happen after the full proposal phase that you receive this email saying that for that and that reason, means the comments from the evaluators are given to you only in case you are not selected, and after the first step and after the second step. But while you are writing your proposal, the only support you can get is from your local evangelists, your local DIH, which I believe they are in contact with you guys. in fact. They should be in contact with you and see how you can improve your proposal or not, but not formally from an evaluation point of view. It's more a guidance or a support, mentoring on how you can do a good proposal, and that's it. Yes? Baruch, you are muted.
Oh, sorry. When we talk about the selected TTE, and there will be COVID-19 circumstances, are mentors physically coming to the company, or how is it going to be? I mean, I know you cannot predict the situation, but is it meant for the mentors, that we have, basically practice to go on field, or is just that air or tier, if it's a local comes to the company, how this is handled? I mean, experiences from the first round.
In my experience, there is not a visit from any mentor to the company. Everything is done remotely. And I mean, once you are selected and you start the project and the experiment, you are assigned a certain number of mentors, technical mentors, business mentors, and also fundraising mentors. And you also have the involvement of the local evangelist. So maybe the local evangelists, in circumstances where there would be no this pandemic, might visit or locally. But at this stage, after 1 year and some months of the pandemic, there is not any physical action.
Okay, thank you. You said that there is 11 deliverables, basically, that upon which one reports and gets funded. How these are evaluated for the, let's say, what's the ground basis to get the sum? Because there is a potential maximum sum, and then it might be that someone doesn't get the full sum that it's stated. How is it going to be evaluated? I mean, this deliverable.
Okay, this is explained in detail in the guide for applicants, but basically there is a in the guide for applicants, you have the details and the names of the deliverables for each stage of the project. I didn't want to spend too much time on describing them because, as I say, the first thing you need to do is to read very carefully the guide for applicants. But in any case, it is true that we are paying on the basis of work done, not on cost justification. You don't have to justify any costs once you have been selected. You have to justify your work through the deliverables. These deliverables are reviewed by what we call a mentoring committee. The mentoring committee is composed of local evangelists and also the mentors, as I say, the business mentors, etc. Technical mentors. So there is, after 1 month, after 4 months, and after 8 months, there is a milestone review, a review of each deliverable, and depending on the quality of this deliverable, you will get 100% of the amount or not. Okay.
Is it possible to, let's say, correct things if they are going in the wrong way, in a way that you can improve your performance?
Okay. I say that before the selection, we have to be very clear. There are two phases very different. One is the open call, and here we are to talk about the open call. We are not in the phase of how the process of the project or the experiment execution itself will happen. This is not an optimism. This, but before the selection, before the project, your project starts, the support you can get from us is from the local evangelist to check if your proposal is going the right way or not. After that, of course, once you start the project, there is complete support from DIH2, from the business mentors, from the technical mentors, etc., etc. And you are supposed to have very periodic meetings with these mentors, and so there is a follow-up that is going to happen with your mentors. So in the end, when you submit the deliverable to be analyzed, normally you have already checked that with your mentor.
Correct.
The approval of your mentors. So it's not that you are going to work alone and then submit a deliverable and then see what happens. No.
Yeah. Okay. That's great news.
There is a correction to be done, because even in that case, maybe the mentoring committee considers that there is something wrong, or the KPIs are not correct, are not followed correctly, and it might happen that you are asked to improve or to reduce some parts of the deliverable, or to fine tune some things, etc. Typically, you are not rejected from deliverable. Typically, is not rejected until, for example, in the first round, it happened that some people, some consortia, asked for an extension of their experiment because they could not finish on time for this reason and that reason, and we accepted that. So don't think that you are going to be alone against the world and work on your own, and that's it, and then receive a bad score and not get fully paid. Typically, you get a full payment, but it can happen somehow that some people do not do their work. No? It's very rare, but it can happen.
Perfect. The scale-up phase, the third phase, is it necessary for technology provider, or they can give up on it?
No, it's necessary. And by the way, it's a lot of money involved. It's 38,500 euros. So it's mandatory for the technology provider.
Okay. Any further questions from the public, let's say? Yes, Yanea, please.
I have a question on the deliverables. What is the expected quality and quantity of these deliverables? Is it comparable to DIH2 projects, or can they be shorter and just include the minimum necessary content? Because then at the end, we don't want just to spend time only on deliverables. I mean, this can be quite a burden to produce them in a way that DIH2 deliverables are rated. I'm a evaluator as well, so I know what I expect from projects, and I think that we have to come up with all these 9 deliverables, very high quality. Then, well, I'm not sure. But, I mean, yeah.
First of all, you cannot compare a cascade funding project with an H2020. I understand that you're meaning a full consortium like a DIH2. The deliverables that DIH2 has submitted to the Commission are completely different from the deliverables that we are going to ask in a cascade funding experiment. But in any case, you are going to receive a total of potential of 248,000 euros, and the deliverables have to be of good quality, of course. I'm not in the position now to tell you about the deliverables, because how they are going to look like, etc. Because this is, as I say, the part of the execution, and we are here to talk about the previous step, which is first you need to be selected, okay, and
of course,
and
definitely.
There is a mentoring committee. The first step you are going to do if you are selected is to provide an individual mentoring plan. Individual mentoring plan is something you are going to work together with your mentor. And there you're going to provide what is expected from you from the technical side, from the business side, and also the KPIs, a lot of things that you need to comply with according to your proposal. I mean, you are going to propose something that is considered to be executed. So in this individual mentoring plan, it's a kind of the execution plan that you need to follow, and you will be evaluated in the deliverables, milestones, in the reviews about if you are compliant and you are accomplishing this individual mentoring plan or not. You are going to write. You need to write, of course. You need to write. You need to propose demonstrators, or to propose documents with graphics, with you know, it's not something that you need to evaluate your work somehow. You know? But it's not the same as a deliverable that needs to be submitted by DIH2, for example.
Maybe I can jump in. Basically, like Antonio is saying, we distinguish between the project as the structure, like you are familiar with the Horizon 2020, and this applicative part, where basically these deliverables are kind of our reports, what has been done, and they are based upon this individual mentoring plan, which you plan and you write what you will do with the milestones. And these reports are actually either to support your story, what have you achieved in order to see how you are going towards the target, or is there any challenges for you additionally. But that's a completely different type of report, I would say. These deliverables are actually kind of a periodic reports on contents that you wrote in your IMP. Am I right, Antonio?
You are totally right.
Okay. Any further questions?
And, if I may have another question, I have briefly gone through the documentation of this whole, and I see there is a lot of emphasis on being compatible with Fiverr. Is that a mandatory part of a TT? Because some SME manufacturers or maybe slightly bigger companies, they don't have, I mean, they have some specific needs to solve a specific, the optimization of a specific process within their manufacturing, entire manufacturing process. Does this need necessarily to be integrated in a smart factory environment, or within the project, or what would you say with respect to this?
I mean, Fiverr is one of the fundamental technical aspects in DIH2. So if you are not used to work with Fiverr, you will have to adapt your solutions to Fiverr in a way that it's explained in the technical guide. But for that, as I say, the most appropriate thing would be a specific, session on technical aspects where the Fiverr guys can explain how you can do it. It hasn't been a problem in the first round, so I don't see why you will be so concerned about that.
Maybe I can add, basically, it's true that this method or methodology and principles of the FIWARE are the key, I would say, fundament of the whole call, DIH2, because I would say that this platform and the methodology and everything is basically used already much more in public sector rather than in companies. So we understand your concern about companies not applying or using the FIWARE as such, but that's the general idea that somehow also this sector provides some disruptive solutions basically on the principles of FIWARE. So this is kind of not eliminating, but definitely key story in the project when one applies. So unfortunately, FIWARE is something you have to consider in your application.
Okay, thank you.
Any further questions? I don't see anything in chat, so I kind of see that we are coming to the end, pretty much according to the plan. If there are any questions, don't hesitate to contact either me as a Slovenian lair, or you can go for the help desk, like Antonio mentioned. And for the purposes of more technical issues or challenges referring to this FIWARE or protocols or content brokers or the technical stuff, if you have any questions, just let us know and we will forward your questions, or you do it alone. And if some questions will be more frequent, then I'm sure that we can arrange on project level an international event where these technical questions will be answered in a way that wider public can get answers, so we don't repeat on national basis similar events too many times. Antonio, final word from you.
Well, just to thank all of you very much for the attendance. I know that there are many topics that can be discussed, and not only probably the mere explanation of how this open call is going to work in the phase we are now, which is the proposal phase. It has other vertices, but we might take note of all of that and probably do other sessions that will follow, more specific on things that are more specific to technical. But this is up to to you both to organize or to check if we can do that.
Thank you, Antonio, for your kind words for the end, and also for the technical aspects that you cleared to all of us. And looking forward to hear you on next occasion, whether it's on similar event or in the project. For the rest, I will switch to Slovene. Torej, hvala vsem. Če želite, lahko dobite vse prezentacije, oziroma zadeva je bila posneta in bo na recimo vid transferju dosegljiva. Po drugi strani vam pa lahko pošljemo tudi že izpolnjene template za mušter, kako recimo se lotiti izpolnjevanja tega short templata. Evo, kakršnakoli druga vprašanja, kadarkoli se obrnete lahko na nas. Zaenkrat bi se zahvalil. Če pa ima še kdo kakšno zaključno misel, pa kar imamo še nekaj sekund. Hecam se. Ok. Glede na to, da se noben ne javlja, bom zaključil ta sestanek v upanju, da bo čim več uspešnih prijav tudi v bodoče. Hvala vam za prisotnost in se vidimo naslednjič. Adijo.
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 Shrani nepilī. Sākam, ka nebija.